There's a very good reason why Thailand doesn't take Halloween that seriously, because they don't need it. They've got a very healthy superstition already ingrained regarding the supernatural. And some of the stories and the legends surrounding Halloween can't touch that. I mean, Michael Myers wouldn't last 5 minutes against any of the ghosts and demons that I've read about. Witches flying on broomsticks? Not scientifically possible, I'm afraid. A broomstick can't hold the weight of a woman. Speaking of women, the first witch to be tried and put in jail in France in the 15th century was actually a bloke. Well, I must say the Asia Hotel is looking very slick these days, and you may have noticed the very large spirit house outside the front. A lot of people say it's there for a very good reason, because there are rumours that the hotel is haunted. Back in the day, the Asia Hotel was known for being a bit ropey. The reception in particular was always described as a bit musty, gloomy and dated. But obviously since the refurbishment, it looks nothing like that. But I was also looking into the rumours about the hauntings, and a lot of those haunting stories came about at least 15 years ago. So maybe the place has had an exorcism since then, because I couldn't find any recent stories at all. Anyway, some of the stories said things like people felt like they're being watched in their rooms. People felt like they were being touched as they slept. One lady said she woke up in the night to see two figures sitting on her sofa in the room looking at her, and then she rubbed her eyes, took a second look, and they'd completely vanished. Other stories include sobbing and crying being heard in bathrooms, and some staff even reported hearing noises and cries coming from rooms that were unoccupied. So whether that's true or not, I know everyone loves a good ghost story, but please don't let that put you off the Asia Hotel, because it's looking pretty slick these days. People often get carried away with superstition or what they think they know or have heard. This canal, there's a lady further down here who feeds the local stray cats twice a day without fail. And I remember I was taking a guy on a walking tour along here, and I told him, I said, yeah, there's a woman down here, she feeds the cats twice a day. And he said, oh, that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? What, is she a witch? And I thought to myself, brainwashed or what? So I went past the lady's house who feeds the cats. She was there, but I didn't want to disturb her. There were a few cats hanging around outside. And the reason why I come down this canal really is because it leads to a place that has some proper supernatural scary stories. It's Wat Don Cemetery, and to be honest, it's a little bit late now. It's almost 9 p.m. So we'll come back tomorrow just as it's getting dark. These are the kinds of places where horror stories are born, and as soon as you walk into Wat Don Cemetery, it's pretty obvious why. You're surrounded by thousands of abandoned graves with bodies still in them. Wat Don Cemetery was a Thai Chinese Christian cemetery that closed 30 years ago after reaching full capacity. After it closed, the city council banned all burials within the centre of Bangkok. A lot of family or next of kin then moved their dead relatives and buried them elsewhere. But there are still thousands of abandoned graves with bodies still remaining here. Part of this cemetery was managed by the Po Tek Tung Foundation. These are the people who drive around to the scenes of accidents and emergencies and pick up the bodies. In most cases, these bodies get claimed by family and they're given a proper burial. But in some cases, if the bodies are badly mangled or if they're picking up a body that's been dead for years, then maybe no one will claim it. And they get buried in places like this, in unmarked graves. And it's the restless spirits of these people that are creating these stories, so the locals say. There are stories of people jogging who've said that they felt like someone was running alongside them, which could be useful, because if that was me, it'd make me run a mile, which is the idea, right? People say that they sat down on a bench to take a breather and they felt like someone was sitting next to them. Even people who say they drove past in their cars said they felt like someone was behind them in the seat, and when they looked there was no one there. Taxi drivers apparently won't come within a mile of this place. And locals also talk of hearing screams at the same time every night, wailing, and figures lit up wandering around the graveyard can be seen at night apparently. Anyway, I'm not sure if they're true or not, but superstition regarding the supernatural is rife in Thailand, as you know, and it draws people like me here to try and pick up a few vibes.
The supernatural. The power of darkness, it's all true.
When I was a kid, I saw American Werewolf in London, and I slept with my head under the blankets for about 6 weeks after that. I was 11 years old, and it was the first time it was on BBC TV, and it became sort of like a cult classic amongst a lot of horror fans.
Yes.
I can assure you that this is not in the least bit amusing.
Good Lord. That film right there, the transformation scene, was unlike anything that had ever been seen before. But that movie in itself, the nightmare sequences, the sequences with the gruesome Nazis killing the parents, I mean, just everything about that, you know, it's just a great classic horror film. That's incredibly funny.
We're lost. Oh, shit, David. What is that? I don't know. Come on. Come on, where? Anywhere. I think we should just keep moving. It's in front of us.
Well, we're in Nana. We're on our way to a place where Bruce wants to spend the night. Are you scared of this?
I mean, I guess I'll be a little scared if she takes off her makeup and I see what she really looks like.
No, the ghost, the ghost.
I know. I'm a little nervous because I do believe in ghosts, and I know some backstory to this room where, I guess from what I'm told, a gentleman killed a lady, then jumped off the balcony. And it's under mysterious circumstances as to why he did that. And from what I'm told, this place is haunted, and that's why I want to check it out.
Are you going to take anyone with you for backup?
You know what? I wasn't planning to, but I'm open to anyone who wants to go with me. You're more than welcome to, Pat.
Let's go and check the place out first.
It's a very basic room, and you know it's 800 baht per night, and as you mentioned, it was 10,000 for the month.
Yeah.
People do live here. Maybe it has more to do with the surrounding area, but it's not exactly the place that I would want to stay in on a permanent basis. I will stay here one night. I will probably, on the night I do decide to stay, get some food, get some drinks, get myself liquored up a little bit because I may need that liquid courage. To stay there. It is an old room that's very creepy.
Well, the guy jumped from the 5th floor.
Yeah, and from that height, yeah, I could see how you would die.
For sure, yeah. So the guy was high and drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering what the motive for the murder was. If it was a murder,
What happened? Did she push him?
What I will try to do, I'm going to see if I could actually stay in the room that he jumped out of.
Yeah, he would probably, I don't know, he looks quite young, so he might not know.
You know what? 800 baht a night is 800 baht a night. You take what you can get.
Well, we'll catch up with Bruce in a day or two, and you've got to tell us all about it.
Absolutely. I absolutely will.
Oh.
And I look forward to it.
Yeah. There's no Wi-Fi here. That could be a problem. I've come to Wat Mahaput here in On Nut. It's alongside the Klong Prakanong Canal, and it's the scene of the legend of Mae Nak Prakanong, one of Thailand's most famous ghost stories. It's been made into several movies, TV series, stage plays, and this took place towards the end of the 18th century. So Mae Nak was a local rice farmer originally from Ayutthaya. She met her husband Mark, who was from nearby Bangkok. They got married, she became pregnant. He had to leave to fight in the war, but during childbirth she died, and her spirit couldn't rest because she missed Mark so much. So she went back to the house to wait for Mark to return from the war. He was severely injured, and after he recovered, he came back home and saw his wife and child there. He thought nothing was wrong. But the villagers tried to warn him that she in fact was a ghost. And one day, Mark saw Nak chopping lemons. She dropped one of the lemons down on the floor below. Her arm extended like some kind of alien snake down to the floor level. This freaked Mark out, and he suddenly believed what the villagers had been telling him all along, that she was in fact an evil spirit, a ghost who had no good intentions at all. So after that, it becomes a story of revenge and evil, and in the end she was exorcised and her remains buried here at Wat Mahaput still to this day. And people still come here on a daily basis to pray and make offerings to the shrine of Mae Nak Prakanong. Women pray for a peaceful, pain-free childbirth. Men come here and they pray that they're not going to be conscripted into the military. You can also buy lottery tickets here. People buy them in the hope that the spirit of Mae Nak Prakanong will offer them some good fortune. So all that Halloween mumbo jumbo, it can't touch the ingrained superstition towards the supernatural. Happy Halloween.